Yay, it is my favorite time of the week, and hopefully if you're listening it is your favorite time too, where we get to discuss the week's biggest tech stories. As always, here on techPLUS, I'm joined by Kaine. Kaine, hello, how's it going?
Hey Eon, thanks for having me. It's always good, and I definitely am excited to go over some of our tech news. We've had quite a lot of stuff happen in the last week, haven't we?
Yo, it's been a busy week, from DSTV shooting themselves in the foot to strange lights appearing in the sky, and now we've got wars to deal with as well, and electricity price increases.
No.
What a world.
In 1 week.
It's all in 1 week. I don't understand why it's always squeezed into 1 week. Can't we just have it spread out gradually throughout the year, you know?
Who do you make that request out to, though?
Good question. One of our very loyal listeners, Susan, is also tuned in this afternoon.
Hey, Susan, welcome back.
But Susan is now in Stellenbosch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where she's finding herself now.
Oh, lekker.
Yeah, so still in Cape Town, but she's in Stellenbosch. You know how hot it gets there?
Humid as well.
Yes, I think it's because you're so close to the mountains.
Yeah.
No sea breeze.
No sea, blocked off.
So hello, Susan. Hey, I like the sound of it. Susan in Stellenbosch.
Yeah, it could be like a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Remember, what is that other one that sounded so good? Suzelle DIY.
Yes.
Remember that?
But you know, she had such a good run with that channel, and I think she kind of, I don't know if you look at her views, it just kind of started plummeting.
Yeah.
And that's when she invented the other character that she's playing now, that's also on the Showmax series, called Tally.
Oh, yeah.
Tally's baby diary, Tally's wedding diary.
I really like Suzelle DIY because I thought it was an original OG YouTuber, but it's actually an actress hired by a production company who produces the entirety of the show.
It's an actress.
That's where I stopped watching.
Did you? Okay, so that kind of ruined it for you.
Yeah, it just didn't seem so genuine anymore.
Yeah, because at the beginning, she said she's this woman doing DIY videos from Somerset West.
Yes.
And it made her sound like she's this bachelorette, and she's making these videos, and a friend, Marianne, the one who can't talk, she comes over every now and then they...
it was almost too perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was this nice scene, you know, but I always wondered who's behind the camera and how, you know, there must be a marketing plan behind it.
There was a full-on team there, you know.
There was
your mic arms, you got your camera light guys.
Yeah, you see, it's not just a lady with a camera, but they kind of gave us that feeling in the beginning.
That's why I liked it in the beginning.
You know what, Kate? Now that you mention it, I think that also ruined it for me when you realize it's an actress. She doesn't talk like that, really. And also, it's a team, yeah. It's a TV production, basically.
It is. And it just takes... Because YouTube is about a creator, an influencer, or a team of people who are independent. But the story would have changed if she had been, you know, genuine and just hired all these people to help her produce this product. But
bloody good actress. Yeah,
Can't
very convincing.
Credit where
very
credit is
convincing.
due.
That accent, especially, eh? Hi guys.
And did you see Netflix is now testing out TikTok-like curated streams of comedy clips on TV? So just like you go through TikTok
Netflix.
and you watch.
Yeah, it's called Shorts or Funnies or something. I saw it on my app.
Yeah. So now,
cool.
just like TikTok, you know, you got your 30 to 60 second shows that, 60-second video clips with varying content. Now on Netflix, there's clips
from the shows,
from different shows.
Okay, I saw that. Yeah.
So it can help you find a new show to watch.
Yeah.
Or it can probably help you find a bit of humor. I think it's pretty cool. Definitely taking a piece. I like that they, you know, there's a big difference. There's something that's always in common between all the social media platforms. They're all kind of taking from each other whenever something does well. And it's nice to see Netflix say, well, we see this works, but let's put our own spin on it.
Yeah.
Let's use what we have. Let's not try to get creators in here. Let's use what we have, which is shows. Let's look at a problem which people face, which is finding new shows and giving them the time of day.
That is a problem.
And put it together into something like that. Now, have I used it yet? Absolutely not. I haven't had the privilege of finding it yet.
But it's a little tab at the bottom, the home screen on your app.
Yes, on mobile, apparently it's got a little bit more functionality. Like you can actually lol at a video. Like you can click a button that says lol. And then on TV and on desktop it's a little bit less user driven like TikTok.
But you don't get stuck in a loop like you do when you watch TikToks. I didn't find that.
To the wormhole of TikTok. So you've tested it?
Yes, I saw it. I was like, hey, this is new. I think there was a little icon on it, that says new. And I clicked on it, and then I entered the world of these shorts. I saw some of my favorite TV shows as well. But even the more serious TV shows, but just the funny bits from those TV shows.
Okay, interesting. I think it's primarily focused on laughs at the moment.
Yeah.
Humor.
They look for the humor.
Yeah.
Because there's always humor somewhere.
Because
even Ozark.
How do you do it for your horror catalog of content?
No. Well, maybe if the makeup's really
like
bad.
Fear Talk.
Hey, listen. Talking about really bad horror movies, do not watch. Well, it's my opinion, but do not watch the new version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I wouldn't even.
From 2022.
I wouldn't even.
2022. The new one. It's the new version. It is basically just a comedy. It's supposed to be scary, but it's a comedy.
It's more humor.
To me it was bloody funny. Some people were running away. I was laughing my ass off.
So why you say don't watch it?
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's horrible, man. It doesn't do justice to that franchise.
So here's some official statement from Netflix. So once users have opted into the feature, and if they are part of the test, they can access fast laughs by scrolling down the Netflix homepage. From there, users can click into the features where full screen clips from shows such as Army of the Dead, Big Mouth, Jerry Seinfeld stand-up specials, and more basically take over the viewing aspect of your screen. You can use arrows on either side of the clip to advance the next clip or return to the previous one, and they also want to get the option to add a title to a list as well as jump right into the presented show movie. So upon finding a show that you think, oh, this could be quite funny, but I would see it as very good, maybe not random shows, because it's sometimes part of the humor in the show is the interaction between characters with very strong, their own generic character that you kind of grow into and learn to understand through watching. But imagine like comedy skits, stand-up comedies and things like that. If I likely would see someone doing some stand-up and it's a very funny 60-second clip, I'm probably going to go and watch the whole thing. And I think that's quite a cool browsing feature. Remember Netflix's Play Something? I think I used that once.
The random thing,
Yeah, I used it once.
I used it once or twice.
Yeah.
It gave me good suggestions on both occasions. But now I'm checking the coming soon tab on Netflix, and I'm seeing some nice shows coming.
You know what I noticed? Mm-hmm. I changed my Netflix account and went to the coming soon page.
Yeah.
Different shows.
So it's all based on,
some of the shows there
on your list.
Yeah, they're not all the new shows are there. So that's was quite interesting. Yeah.
Queen of the South is also coming back in March.
Okay.
And then we finally know that Ozark's final episodes, part 2, it's coming sooner than we thought. We thought it would be much later this year. It's going to come end April, early May.
That's very
So rejoice.
interesting.
But then now I'm going to play something, Kaine. And then you must guess what we're going to talk about, because that's going to set the tone for what we're going to talk about.
Okay. Where's this from again now?
Titanic.
Oh yeah, the Titanic. Whisper it in my ear quickly.
That was the producer. So what are we talking about?
Are we talking about the Titanic?
No, something that is going the same
Sinking
route.
ship. DSTV. That was subtle.
Yes, we're going to talk about DSTV. They made a big mistake this week, eh? They made a very big mistake.
Tell us.
They're trying to clamp down on people watching DSTV, not illegally, but using families' logins.
Right.
They want you to pay now, so you can't use your family's login details anymore.
So if my brother pays $1,000 a month and I use his account to watch online, they basically saying that no, he must pay $1,000 and I must pay $1,000.
Yeah, you must now also pay. Basically, because it's not going to work, because what they're doing is you used to be able to, like, the whole family could log in and all of them could watch different things at the same time, or at least 2 different viewers at the same time. Now it's just going to be one. So if Granny is watching her soapies, you can't watch the sport.
Now, let me phrase a question to you, okay? Now, in my personal opinion, if I am watching on my friend's account or my brother's account or my mom's account and watching DSTV, and I see, I can no longer watch this using this account, I must now go and buy a premium DSTV subscription in order to watch.
Basically,
Am I going to put down the phone, pick up the PC, go to DSTV and pay $1,000 a month? No. I'm just not going to watch anymore.
Yeah. What if you really like what you're watching? Now you got to say goodbye. So just one person allowed at a time. So no more logging into your family's DSTV accounts. But listen, the people weren't taking it lightly.
Some people pay for like dual view, where you have independent TVs running different shows.
That you can still do in your house, but I mean, the streaming aspect is just one at a time.
So it works on TVs, but not on your mobile phone.
Yeah,
where most people are watching off a device.
Exactly.
Or tablet.
So just one. So if somebody in your family is watching something, you can't log in and watch.
Yeah, I think you can just play that Titanic theme song again.
But listen, the people aren't happy, eh? I think they're obviously trying to make up for losses, and in doing so now, they've really ticked off the last bit of people who were still on premium. They've really ticked them off now, and those people are like, no, sorry, that's it for me, hey? Cheers.
I would too. I wouldn't put
So not a good move. Don't they have boardroom meetings where they talk about these things and the implications and the effects of it?
You would think
what's going to happen?
You would think so, because what you want to do is you want to make your service more attractive to people that aren't paying subscribers, right? What you don't want to do is make your service less attractive for existing customers. So what I would have thought to do is to have anybody that has a sustained DSTV subscription as of right now, I'd allow them to make use of that, and any new subscribers wouldn't be able to do it. Because if you're going to do something which makes you think you're going to get more subscribers, but there's a heavy risk that you're going to lose people, or you just will get less viewership, meaning if people want to advertise and things like that, it's less attractive. I don't understand the business move. I don't think it's a good move.
I think, to sum it up, somebody said on social media, and whoever it was made a good point by saying that they've lost touch with reality.
Yeah.
And I really think that is the case.
They're charging 3 times the price of Netflix, and I can watch Netflix on 4 different devices at any given time. I don't even think I've run into a point where I try to watch a movie and I realize too many devices are playing a movie, and that's a third of the price. Now you must charge me 3 times as more, but every single person in my family, like if I'm thinking about when I was in school and going to hostel, now I have 2 brothers, they're going to hostel as well, means we have to pay 3,000 Rand collectively for each of us to be able to watch our DSTV at our respective room in our hostel on our device. 3,000 Rand coming out of a single household to fulfill DSTV. You people are just going to be like, I'd rather use Netflix, I'd rather use Showmax, I'd rather use Amazon Prime.
Exactly.
1,000,001 reasons.
They still have that one monopoly, eh? The sport. That's still keeping the people locked in.
Yeah,
but for how long? For how long?
Can you stream the sport?
If you know how.
No, can you stream the sport on the app or on the
Well,
device?
not if somebody else is using it. So if Granny's watching a telenovelas, then you can't watch your rugby.
10 people huddled around one tablet trying to watch the rugby. You got to rotate it so everyone gets a chance to not watch upside
down. Listen, I really think it's the end, eh? Just get Rose on the door and Jack floating in the ice water, because
I think they'll reverse that. I don't know how many subscribers they would lose, but they're definitely going to lose viewership.
But remember, now people have contracts with the DSTV. Are you allowed to change the terms and conditions on these things in existing contracts? Because it's already signed. Yeah. So didn't you sign for those terms and conditions? Now the terms and conditions have changed. You didn't sign for the new ones. So what happens to the contract? Is that even legal?
Maybe the legal team found a loophole. Maybe the process of signing up for a DSTV subscription is only inclusive of the decoder and the satellite dish,
and then the terms and conditions
is an additional.
Yeah, you're right. There must be a loop there.
Yeah.
But no, it's not looking good, eh? What are you coming back with once we got the Titanic out of the way?
So we've got a few things. So we're going to take a look at IOL.co.za tested out some of the Samsung new phones. So we're going to take a look at what their opinion is of that. Tygerberg Hospital becomes the first public hospital to perform robotic surgery, the first public hospital in South Africa to perform robotic surgery. And we're also taking a look at Sony's PlayStation Next VR design, their VR2 headset.
Ooh, nice. Sounds nice. That's when we come back here on techPLUS. Let's get back to techPLUS, where we're joined by Kaine, as always, discussing the week's biggest tech stories. Kaine, what have you got for us to start off with?
So here's something to be quite proud of in terms of being a South African and our advancements in terms of the public health industry. So Tygerberg has become the first ever public hospital to perform robotic surgery. So it became the first government institution to perform robotic surgery using the most advanced surgical robots available today. So in Cape Town, Western Cape, the Tygerberg Hospital became used this technology for the first time, and they're the only public hospital to use this technology ever, which is really cool because we obviously have free public healthcare. So and these things, it's not necessarily a robot performing surgery, so we'll get into now what that really means. So the hospital launched its Da Vinci surgical robotic program on Tuesday. The two Da Vinci systems are the most advanced surgical robots available today. The Tygerberg system will be used by specialist surgeons in colorectal surgery, urology, and hepatobiliary surgery.
What?
These are doctor words. I'm not a doctor, I'm in tech, okay? The Western Cape government said the robotic system's versatility will maximize the number of patients that will benefit from the technology. The main diseases that will be treated as part of the programs are liver, kidney, and bladder cancer. Which is actually pretty impressive because what it does is, normally when you go into surgery, there's a large incision of some kind for certain surgeries where a large amount of cutting has to happen in order to get access to the internal organs of the body and perform a surgery. So what the technology is, it's basically a surgical system that provides surgeons with an advanced set of instruments to use during robotic assisted minimally invasive or keyhole surgery. The operation is not performed by a robot alone. The surgeon controls the procedure from a console via fiber optic cables, and the system translates the surgeon's hand movements in real time. So he's basically using instruments to perform the surgery, and the tiny surgical instruments move inside the patient like a human hand, but with a far greater precision, with significantly greater range of motion. You're having fun with the leaf blower in the background, Eon.
Why did you bring it again, Kaine? Last week it was flying past.
Let me shut him off here.
Oh dear. Yes, exposed to the elements. It's live radiophoria, isn't it?
This is South Africa.
It's live radiophoria, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But how cool is that you can now?
I was listening to what you said.
That doctors can perform surgery with the robot, with the robotic pair of instruments.
They say it sounds like a chainsaw, like in the Chainsaw movie.
Chainsaw Massacre, you were talking about it.
But Kaine, yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was listening to what you were saying there. Very interesting story. Would you trust this robot to work on you, even if a human is with the robot?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the main reason that is because humans are limited by the instruments we're provided. Hands, scalpels, these sort of things. And our hands are big and bulky. So when you're performing you're trying to perform minimally invasive surgery, you can't do as much or move as much within the human body as a very fine-tuned surgical instrument that you can control. And what the doctors see while they're controlling this robot is represented in 3D.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw some of the images. It's actually a bit scary.
It's crazy, but it's completely 3D. So they have a very good sense of depth while we're performing surgery, and they can make very, very careful movements and have a range of motion which isn't available using something like your hands.
Yeah.
And for that reason, and also another great reason is because keyhole surgery is the process of having a few incision points where you go in with the instruments, opposed to a gigantic invasive surgery whereby a large amount of skin has to be cut in order to access the body. And that's pretty impressive considering it's public.
Yeah,
you can get this
public. Yeah, it's not even a private.
No,
yeah.
It's not $1 million price tag.
Exactly.
And we're the first public hospital, the first South African.
So that's Tygerberg. Well done, Tygerberg. But also, you won't trust it if it's only the robot doing it without any humans present. Would
no,
be like Elon's
it can't do it.
Okay,
it can't.
But what if there's a robot one day that can do all surgery? Would you trust it?
Get out of here! No, it's not Star Trek yet.
What if it removes something it shouldn't?
What? It can't be worse than the doctor that removed the wrong leg, amputated the wrong leg.
Yeah, if a human can make that mistake, what's the robot going to do?
It's going to come back just a hand.
Yeah.
Just a hand with eyes on it. Unreal.
Yo, but interesting, eh? Yo, what a time to be alive.
So what were you saying about Audi?
Yes, Audi launched their first electric vehicles in South Africa this week, eh? It is the obviously EV, so electrical vehicles in South Africa. It was Tuesday evening, but did you see the price tag?
Yeah.
We're talking 1.75 million to maximum 3.3 million rand. But they're bloody gorgeous, eh?
They are.
These cars are stunning. And just waiting for Eskom now for permission. Can we plug them in? Are they able to handle it?
I think Audi, we spoke about it, I think it might have been 2 weeks ago. Audi's actually installing, I think there's 55 rechargeable stations that are being installed across South Africa, which can be for any electric vehicle, but obviously tailored and branded for Audis exclusively, in terms of what it's branded. It's not going to be a Total or a Caltex rechargeable station. It would be maybe at a Caltex or one of those, but created, manufactured and provided by Audi. Because they're installing it on their own cost. No one's buying it from them. So it's their process of making sure that there is infrastructure available to support their vehicles on the ground. So they're not playing around. They're not just bringing an electric car into the country and just saying, well, let's hope people step up and get us ways to recharge these vehicles.
Okay, so they're looking after it.
And they're looking after it.
That's good. And then you've got these guys as well, the Norwegian solar power producer Scatec, rolling out some more solar farms in South Africa. That's going to help a little bit.
Fantastic.
Hey?
Another 150 megawatts to add to the grid.
Yeah,
soon enough we'll be there.
Let's see. Well, it's a 15 billion rand investment. The solar and battery project is one of the largest in the world, and the farm is going to be constructed near Kainhart. I think, where's Kainhart?
I'm not sure where that is.
Kainhart is, it's in the Northern Cape. It's one of 3 projects that will provide 540 megawatts
Impressive.
of solar generation and then 225 megawatts of battery storage.
Excellent.
So that's nice. Yeah, as long as you have these guys popping up as well, helping a bit, and taking the load off Eskom gradually, I think we'll be fine.
It's 1/60th of the grid that they're providing.
Yeah.
Might not sound like a lot, but
That's
in actuality, when you're talking about these guys spending billions and aggregating 100 megawatts of power, opposed to 32,000 megawatts of demand, it's a slow-moving process. But when you have 10 people all trying to provide 100 to 500 megawatts and providing it to the grid, that changes the game. That starts shaping a future where energy generation is majority of the time generated by renewable means and not the derivative of burning coal, which is our main problem right now in terms of emissions and the degradation of non-renewable resources.
But we haven't had any L lately, eh?
No L word yet. Luckily, all the lights are still on. And if you don't know what we're talking about by now, just don't say it.
Yeah, don't say the word.
As soon as it comes up, load shedding.
Oh shit, you just you just said it.
No, I'm feeling brave. Guys. I feel like with all the solar power coming in, we can start being a little
24
bit
hours since your words were spoken.
No.
Watch, you're going to see what's going to happen.
No, don't say that. We need
Or maybe Russia's going to nuke our power grid or something. You don't know.
No, all the missiles are going to Ukraine. they got their hands full.
Listen, but how hectic is that thing that's happening right there now between Russia and Ukraine? It's hectic, and I see that over 100 Namibians and even some South Africans are trapped in Ukraine. I mean, what do you do if you're in a foreign country like that and they go to war? Must be very scary.
Well, it must be very scary. Obviously, Ukraine it's a member of NATO. I can't remember what the word is, but it's not part of NATO, which is where all the unionized defenses are. So Russia's taking advantage of that lack of infrastructure and defense, which is pretty concerning. But there's even something more concerning than the turmoil that's happening in Ukraine, and that's our Twitter account sharing videos from Ukraine are being suspended. when they're needed most. It was a report made by The Verge. What that means is, as Russian troops and armored vehicles begin moving into Ukrainian territory, social media accounts sharing images and videos from the eastern regions have been a crucial source of information, sharing footage of Russian helicopters heading towards towns, tanks, divisions moving towards borders. But as the conflict intensifies, many researchers sharing this primary material taken from social media, commonly known as open source intelligence, have found their Twitter accounts unexpectedly suspended.
Whoops.
Which is important, because it's important to let the rest of the world know what's going on. If you can't censor that information.
No.
Sure, there's a risk of misinformation and exaggerated information and potentially information without enough context that could create
or some
fear.
Old photos re-emerging, as they like to do, and saying that's happening right now,
So on the night of February 22nd, researcher Carl Glenn was locked out of his account for 12 hours, according to tweets from Glenn and a post shared by another OSINT organization. Security analyst Oliver Alexander also claimed to have been locked out of his account twice in 24 hours. And outside of the Anglosphere, the French language OSINT account Neuron Intelligence, Spanish language account Mundo en Conflicto, and Brazilian account, I'm not even going to try to say that name, were also affected. And it's pretty alarming, because what these guys are doing is they're actually taking information that they find and not necessarily capture themselves, and just resharing it and trying to create awareness around it. So a Twitter thread compiled by Nick Waters, an analyst at the pioneering OSINT organization Bellingcat, lists more account suspensions in a tweet. Alexander shared a screenshot with a message stating that the account had been locked for violating Twitter rules, though the exact rule violation was not specified. Researchers raised concerns that the account suspensions could have been part of a mass reporting campaign intended to disable OSINT accounts during a Russian invasion. In a statement, Twitter spokesperson Elizabeth Busby said that the action had been taken against these accounts in error and was not part of a coordinated campaign.
So it was an error.
But it gets more suspicious.
How convenient.
It gets more suspicious. So they're claiming that no, this is a manual, this is some sort of automation error, whereby accounts are being suspended due to an algorithm detecting or flagging them.
How's it getting more suspicious now?
So, one thing that Busby also said is we've been proactively monitoring for emerging narratives that are violative of our policies, and in this instance, we took enforcement action on a number of accounts in error. We're expeditiously reviewing these actions and have already proactively reinstated access to a number of affected accounts. The claims that the errors were a coordinated bot campaign or the result of mass reporting is inaccurate. So what they're basically saying is there's no so-called malicious activities happening here. This is simply Twitter trying to protect their users. When asked what content policies the suspended accounts were believed to have been violated, Busby pointed to The Verge to Twitter's synthetic and manipulated media policy, which deals with the sharing of misinformation on the platform. Under the terms of the policy, accounts may not share information that has been significantly and deceptively altered, manipulated, or fabricated, is shared in a deceptive manner or with false context, or is likely to result in widespread confusion on public issues, impact public safety, or cause serious harm. It's unclear how these suspended accounts were thought to have been breached the policy. But normally when this happens, it's relatively smaller accounts and accounts in foreign languages, because Twitter mods don't have as much language proficiency there, said Tolle. But here you're getting a lot of people tweeting in English as well, some pretty big accounts with tens of thousands of followers going down as well, and it's kind of strange. They also highlighted the fact that many of the accounts suspended were aggregator accounts, which retweet other accounts that are posting the original content, rather than directly sharing images and videos. This pointed to a likelihood that the aggregator accounts had been suspended due to human intervention rather than algorithmic content moderation. So what that means is people are getting suspended left, right, and center, but they're saying it's an algorithmic based approach, but people who are even resharing things that are shared by the original accounts are getting suspended as if it's a human intervention, a human suspension. So what is going on? I don't know. But in 2014, when Russia made some moves on invasions and things like that, they used a big misinformation campaign through social media to manipulate the media and keep attention where they wanted attention. And that was a strategy that they had. I don't know what's going on here, but traditionally, especially on things like TikTok and Instagram, from my experience, if enough people report something, it can automatically be removed. Without manual intervention. So if Russia has a bot army or some kind of bot army that is flagging and reporting anything that covers the story, that could in itself be the algorithmic suspension of accounts. Very interesting world we live in here. Social engineering combat.
Yeah, very interesting. Thanks, Kaine. Also, did you see Mark Zuckerberg's 3-year-old child is now coding?
Yes.
So no wonder Facebook's been having so many errors. That's why Facebook is so terrible at the moment. There's so many errors. I was wondering who's behind it.
We found the culprit.
It's his child who's coding at the age of 3.
He's given him her job.
I couldn't even work the microwave oven at 3.
I couldn't even put my own pants on at 3. Let alone, I wasn't let near the microwave oven. I don't know who supervised you, but you should not be operating a microwave at 3 years old. Definitely not.
Jeez. Okay, is Russia saying we must go to a music break, otherwise they're going to nuke us? Is that all right?
We're going to have to go then.
Okay, cool. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some strange moving lights appearing in the sky on Tuesday night, spotted from Wilderness in the Garden Route. But we know who's behind it. Not the Russians. I'll tell you after our music break. Here's David Scott with Aurora. techPLUS is the final edition. Well, not the final edition, but I mean the final section.
Don't cancel us so soon, Eon. I have big plans this year.
Yeah, shame. Yeah, same here. Listen. Just before we get to the strange lights in the sky, you had a birthday this week. And it was a very special one because it was on Tuesday, but Tuesday was also known as Tuesday because of all the twos.
Yes.
So tell us about your special birthday.
So it was quite interesting because I turned 25 on 22/02/2022.
Sure.
Which is quite interesting, but what I did, because I thought it would be quite humorous, is that evening at 22 minutes past 10 I took a picture.
So it was 22/22.
It was 22/02/2022 at 22 minutes past 10.
Special moment. I just said to Kaine off air, he would probably combust spontaneously or something if he turned 22 as well at that moment.
And start emitting a Wi-Fi signal.
Yeah. But yes, Kaine, so happy birthday. I obviously said to you happy birthday on your phone, which you didn't get because you were too busy.
Yeah.
Your phone was blowing up with all your things because you're popular.
Yeah.
But
maybe not popular, but
how was it? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah,
otherwise,
it was very good.
You were working.
Yes, I was working that day. Had a late night, but had my brother actually organised us to go out to stay somewhere for the evening.
Oh wow!
Which was very nice.
That's very nice.
So it was in time to celebrate all those twos.
Yeah.
At 22/22, and it was actually a very nice day. It was nice to be able to just sit down. It was actually my first, like I only really have Christmas and birthday that I kind of take for myself and try and focus on some personal aspects. So it was welcomed. My week got very busy. I woke up on Wednesday thinking it was Tuesday, but that's how it goes,
But I'm glad you had a good birthday.
No, it was very good. And so what were you going to tell us now?
Hey, but Kaine, that same night, while you were having your birthday celebrations, a bunch of people were braaiing in Wilderness, and they saw a number of moving lights traveling neatly in a row across the night sky. I thought, ooh, it's 2222222. Oh gosh, here we go. It's the end. Wilderness resident Mike Leggett. Is it Leggett?
Leggett.
Yeah. Says they saw something that looked like a faint white line in the sky, which appeared from the south over the sea, not long after sunset. Said it almost looked like a string of LED lights, and then it faded into darkness as if the sky swallowed it up. And he said he actually had a sleepless night after that, thinking that was pretty weird. But anyway, eventually it emerged who was behind it. Who do you think was behind it?
So it wasn't an alien, because there would be a lot of news right now.
Yes.
It maybe was some sort of organization with some drones. Am I close? Is it warming up?
Maybe, yeah.
Almost there, but not really.
Yeah. It was Elon Musk and his SpaceX.
Satellites.
Again, yes.
The Starlink satellites.
Yes, something like that.
Passing through the sky.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting, actually.
Traveling very low at about 300 to 400 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Musk has a compilation of satellites that is causing a stir in the astronomical community because of the disturbance it causes in the night sky. They've launched over 2,000 Starlink satellites. They are floating there at the moment.
Did no one think it might be a good idea just to not have them shining lights?
Yeah, so the astronomers aren't happy because they're studying stars and all of a sudden Elon pops up in the night sky.
Slides into their DMs.
Yeah. That guy's everywhere. I mean, if you don't see him in the news, you'll see him through your telescope.
Well, that's actually pretty alarming. I mean, it wouldn't make... I don't know why they put so many lights on them, but it is a really big problem for astrology.
Very pretty, eh? It looks like a string of LED lights in the night sky. It's very pretty.
Funny that the fakest things look the most beautiful. I mean, we have like a million stars in the sky.
Yeah.
And the thing that surprises us is the 6 in a row, that's low Earth orbit satellites.
You're right, yeah.
So here's something, another thing that's interesting. So Sony's just revealed their next-gen PlayStation VR design. Nothing has been manufactured yet, but this is very early stages taking a look at it. And I'm going to show you a picture of it quick. It looks really good, doesn't it?
Ooh.
Very nice looking VR headset.
It reminds me of a meme I saw this week.
Really?
Where it shows in the 90s your parents said, hey, don't sit so close to the TV. And now in 2021 and 2022, you've got VR goggles on your face.
You're basically glued to the TV.
Exactly.
Now.
So why were they saying that back in the 90s?
I have no idea. What I didn't know is that the first Sony PlayStation VR Gen 1 launched back in 2016.
I also didn't.
I didn't know that.
Wow, that was quite some time ago.
Yeah, it was quite a long time ago. I didn't even know VR was there in 2016.
No, same. Yeah.
Silent launch.
Very.
Yeah, but these are the new ones, and I must say they look really good. I actually think they look better than the Oculus and the HTC Vive. It will only probably work on your PlayStation though, so you have to have a PlayStation 5. VR headsets are expensive. PlayStation 5s are expensive. You're looking at like 30,000 rand.
Sure.
But it's still great to see this new innovative design coming out. It looks really good. I advise anyone to go take a look at it. I think it's definitely a very good looking design. How it performs is to be confirmed, but they have a 2K. You have 1K, 4K, 8K screens.
Yeah.
It's two 2K screens, one for each eye in this headset. So it's very high quality. It'll probably be quite an immersive experience. Definitely worth looking forward to as we get closer to it becoming a reality. I don't know if I'll try it. I think it's a bit expensive to game on VR, even with just on a computer. You're looking at 8 to 12,000 rand for a headset, and PlayStation 5s are what, 15 grand?
Can't you just go and stand really close to your TV and have the same experience?
Close your eyes really tightly and just hope for the best. I've got something actually very interesting. So in Amsterdam, there was an Apple store that was held hostage.
Now apples as in the fruit or the actual technology?
No, like the technology store. We're obviously on the tech show, but this was something that happened in Amsterdam.
You never know.
You never know. That's the thing. You never know. When I saw Apple store, I was thinking, is it a grocery?
Yeah,
but there was a guy that went in there with a gun, shot it in the air, made a bunch of people scared, had fake bombs attached to him.
Fake?
Shared a picture of him and the hostage on social media.
Oh dear.
Demanded 200 million euros in cryptocurrency and a safe travel out of the Apple store. Then they brought him some water, and as they were bringing him the water, the hostage made a run for it. Then the attacker, who had the hostage held up, ran after the hostage, and then the cop drove into him with a car. And that was how they disabled that incident.
You're okay? So is he all right now?
I don't know. After the crash? I don't know. It's just a flippin' Tuesday afternoon kind of thing, It's in the middle of Amsterdam.
Jeez.
They couldn't figure out why he did it. But his gun was real, but the bombs were not. He was obviously trying to create some sort of stir. But it happened in an Apple store of all places, holding an Apple store.
Yeah.
But who thinks of that? You go into a bank and you ask for $200 million in cryptocurrency. You don't go into an Apple store.
I think it has to do with, it sounds like he was trying to do something like, what's that guy? Vitalik.
Vitaly?
Yeah, that guy. Isn't he Russian as well?
Oh, Vitalik.
I don't know.
The creator of Ethereum. Is that who you're talking about?
No, that guy he does all these crazy things. He's a Russian guy.
Oh.
Vitaly.
Oh.
Vitaly?
Yeah.
Vitaly? I don't know.
I don't know why he did it.
Maybe he was trying to do stuff like that because that guy's always arrested.
Yeah. But you know
he does it for social media.
You mentioned Starlink now, right?
Yeah.
And obviously this goal to create commercial space travel is becoming more and more realistic. And Virgin Galactic has just announced that they're on schedule to start commercial human suborbital flights this year.
What does that mean?
It means you go up in a plane into suborbital orbit, go around a little bit, come back down and land, and that's your ticket. They cost $450,000 a ticket.
No, thanks.
Yeah, but it gets more interesting because they've got their first 1,000 tickets sold already. The first 1,000 people that are traveling have already been sold. But let's get into it for a second. So Virgin Galactic executives said on February 22nd that they remain on schedule to begin commercial human suborbital missions before the end of the year, but acknowledged it will take several years for the company to become profitable. In an earnings call after the release of Virgin Galactic's fourth quarter and fiscal year 2021 financial results, executives said upgrades to the company's Spaceship 2 suborbital spaceplane, VSS Unity, and its White Knight 2 carrier aircraft, VMSI, remained on schedule to allow them to start commercial flights in the fourth quarter. They said we remain on track and on schedule to commence commercial services later this year, which is pretty exciting because that means there's really going to be some sort of commercial degree. But what I found very interesting was that these 1,000 tickets, some of them were sold like recently over the last year, some of them have been sold a few years ago, and some of them as late as 15 years ago.
Wow.
These tickets were sold, and now they have to go and actually make sure that these people go to space. They got the tickets.
That's another thing we didn't know about that happened 15 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know Virgin Galactic was selling but that was probably initial investors, private investors.
We were still kids back then.
So exactly. I was a toddler. I wasn't putting $450,000 up for nothing.
We didn't even follow the news like we do now. Yeah.
They also went on to speak about how the planes work and how and what kind of planes do what kind of functions. I'll definitely, if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'll definitely look it up and read about it because it is very interesting. But they said that all of their fleet will provide us with a cost-effective and highly efficient manufacturing model for building out our Delta fleet and future motherships. That's what they call it. He says there's a goal of being able to produce up to 6 space planes per year once in full operation. The company has a goal of having 1,000 customers by the time commercial flights resume later this year. Virgin Galactic has sold approximately 750 seats, he said, of which 150 came after the company reopened ticket sales in August. First to those on a waiting list, and as of Feb 15 to the general public at $450,000 a ticket. The rest are from earlier tickets, some of which date back more than 15 years. So what actually happened is the Delta class spaceplanes won't be able to meet that demand for some time, though. Doug Ahrens, Chief Financial Officer at Virgin Galactic, said on the call that the first Delta class vehicles should be ready to start commercial flights of research payloads in late 2025 and passenger flights in 2026. These are some of their other fleets that they'll be manufacturing. And they also said that asked late in the year if the company expected to have flown all its projected initial 1,000 customers by the time the Delta vehicles enter service, which is 2025. Ahrens declined to give a direct answer, and he said, we've probably given you enough data out there to track this. You can start to do some of the math on where the numbers will play. So they didn't want to say whether or not the 1,000 people or the 750 sold tickets, people will be able to use them.
Yeah.
So they did the calculations themselves. So with Unity capable of carrying 4 customers and flying once per month, while Imagine carrying 6 people, which is a type of plane, Imagine is a type of plane, carrying 6 people and flying twice a month, Virgin Galactic will be able to fly 16 customers a month or 192 people per year. If all flights are devoted to its private astronaut customers, that would take the company more than 5 years to work through the backlog if the Delta vehicles are not ready.
Oops.
5 years just to service the people who you already got money from before you can actually start creating cash flow.
And what if those people aren't alive anymore?
What if they're not alive? What if they get irritated and ask for a refund? You know, it's probably non-refundable, but then you could get sued by the whole, because these aren't unwealthy people who are spending $450,000 for a small few hours space flight.
I wonder how many of those are celebrities. You think Donald Trump is one of them?
Maybe not
Justin
Donald
Bieber,
Trump.
maybe?
Definitely some celebs, like music celebs, maybe. But you're looking at really wealthy people, majority of the time.
Yeah.
Initial investors, VCs, business owners, big business owners. But what an opportunity. I actually am proud of the fact that space travel is becoming commercial, because that's the problem with being a normal everyday person. Unless it's commercial, you don't actually have access to it, you can't actually utilize it, you can't actually experience it. And thanks to the commercialization of certain industries like space, now for the first time you don't have to become an astronaut and go train at NASA for 55 million years just to get the opportunity to travel into space and do something for 6 months in space. Now you can actually, if you have the money and you're very successful in other parts of your life, you're able to actually go on a journey and experience it for yourself. Because who wouldn't want to look at Earth from orbit? Let's be honest. I wonder if there's anyone that wouldn't want to have an opportunity to view it even for 5 minutes. If they were going to be absolutely safe, no potential loss of life, you can go out and you can go see what the Earth looks like outside of our own atmosphere in space. What an opportunity.
So you would do it?
I would do it.
Yes, but it needs to be safe.
I would do it even if it's not, because it's such
But nothing is guaranteed anyway. But I also saw a meme this week where it shows like you have two photos next to each other. I'll show it to you now. A picture of a planet 800 million kilometers away. Then it's this high definition image, and then security cameras at banks, and then there's this image that you can't make out what's happening. Isn't it interesting how is that even possible? How you can
one's a telescope, the other one's a CCTV.
Yeah, exactly.
Like miniaturized thing. But it's very true. I mean,
priorities.
Priorities.
Yeah,
man.
I think that's a big problem right now. Priorities. People don't have any of those.
And I think that brings us to the end of this week's Tech Show.
It does. The Russians have spoken. They say it's time to go.
God, his Twitter account suspended again, yeah.
No, they got to suspend our stream now. But anyway, peace out. May the world have peace.
Peace out, have a time.
Yeah, there needs to be something said about it, like
absolutely
to the world right now. It's it's a very hectic place.
The technology is developing. Obviously, there's some geopolitical tensions at the moment, but the main thing is we're advancing. We're getting more solar power. We're introducing electric vehicles. We're moving into what our potential future could be in a sustainable manner. It's time to be excited. It's time to give support to the projects that are going the right direction, that are focusing on the right things, and put your money and your support there. And that's how we do it as consumers. We control the future. This is where we start.
You're right.
Know what's going on to make.
You're
decisions.
right. Kaine, thank you so much. Another great show, and looking forward to next week already.
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much for having me, and thanks to all of our listeners for listening in. And I'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, Kaine.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.